What is up, guys? All right, we are going to be diving into the review of our programmatic SEO website. And what I have looked at the data, right? Google has started ranking my website. 14,000 pages so far out of 33,000 pages have been ranked on Google, or listed, I should say, on Google. And basically, what have I basically started writing down like some data of what I've actually looked at the data from, like what people are searching, what people are looking for on my site, how people are finding it, and how I'm going to essentially like double my site, right? How am I going to go from 33,000 pages to 66,000 pages on the call, right? And so that's what we're going to do today is I'm literally going to, on this call, is we're going to code with the AI, and then we're going to submit what's called a sitemap to Google. All right. Basically, I'm going to double my entire site by 33,000 pages on this call. All right. And so, but first we have to think of why am I doing this, right? What direction? It'd be silly if I just hit like -2 and then I just created duplicate pages, right? I want to say like what from the data is making it where I'm making this decision. I'm not just trying to guess. I want to really focus in. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to share my screen. Thank you guys for all the students that joined. We got Troy, Rob, Austin, Ugama, Ed, Jameson. Heck yeah, full class. I miss anybody else? All right, heck yeah. So thank you guys for joining the class. You guys are legends. If you guys have any questions, let me know. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to dive in. So here is Google Search Console, okay? So this is Google Search Console for my website. You guys can see the website did not exist November 7th. So that right now it's November 14th, right? So 7 days ago, this website did not exist. All right. I didn't own the domain. I didn't own anything, right? And then on November 8th, I submitted it to Google, right? You guys can see I got my very first 11 impressions and my very first click on that day. All right. Since then, it has, you can see the next day I got 31 clicks. The very next day I got 70 clicks. It went down to 68 clicks. Tuesday was 43 clicks, and now we're back up to 59 clicks as of yesterday. All right. Impressions on like how many times my site has came up on Google was 4,546. Okay. So far, 29,000 times that it's been on there, with 272 clicks to the site. All right, so here's what if we go to sitemap. If you guys know and you guys been following this journey, I actually had to rebuild the site. The reason why I had to rebuild the site is because I was calling Google API. Google Places API costs money every single time you call it. That cost me $374 in that first 24 hours that it was calling my site. So highly don't recommend use that data source. Tomorrow we're going to have a class, and it's going to go over data sources. It's going to go over that error that I made to don't make that mistake again, okay? So there's going to be some things that we cover, and if you guys missed those. All right, so look, here's what we did. We submitted to Google. They discovered 33,841 pages. If I click pages, you can see they index 14,000, 3,300 is not indexed. If I click the reasons why, they actually give us some errors why. Like this one right here, it says alternate page with proper concatenational tag. I had no clue what this was. So what I did is I copied this error and I told the AI, I got this error on my page. Can you please fix it? And it fixed it. And then now I resubmitted it. And then I told Google to refix it. Okay, so do I have any clue what some of the errors are? No. That's why we tell the AI, and the AI fixes them. I did that same thing with all of these errors and resubmitted it. Okay, so, and that's with the new data source and with a brand new website that I had to rebuild in that amount of time. So we are building like crazy. So now I'm not in this like, oh no, things are on fire mode. Now I'm in like, okay, this is working. How do I sprint with this? That's where I'm at right now. That's where you guys are with this class, okay? So for me, what does that mean? So if I go to performance, I want to make an educated decision. So here's what I did is I clicked on performance. This is inside Google Search Console, okay? This is, we can only control certain things, right? We can only control the pages that we put on our site, the data that we display. I can't control how many clicks Google's gonna send to us, but I can view the data of what Google is sending us and what traffic. So if I come over here and I scroll down into our pages, we can see here, I'm going to go rows per page and I'll go to 500. I can scroll through this and I could see the top queries of what's sending us the most impressions and traffic to our site. All right. Well, what I could do is I could start going one by one and looking at what's bringing us the most impressions. Like this is when you look at the data, all this means is reading one at a time, one line. Like don't overthink it. Just look at the numbers. All right, so here's what it's going to do. It's going to say queries, and it's going to say top queries, and it's going to say dispensary near me because that's the site. Obviously, sometimes I pick that word because it's a direct, like our domain is dispensariesnearmeopennow.com. So most likely I'm going to rank my top queries for the exact word that I have. Obvious. Well, if I start to scroll down, then now we have dispensaries near me, which is a slightly different spelling. Interesting. I could potentially one day in the future own that domain if I so choose. I could scroll down and you see now it says weed dispensaries near me. All right, cool. Well, that's interesting. I could scroll down and now the next thing, number 4, is we have sweet leaf dispensary. So the very first thing I wrote on my page is I wrote dispensary names. So now all of a sudden the things I could rank by is name of the dispensary. And that's it. So if I have a giant list of dispensaries, I could rank for every single list of dispensaries for the name of the dispensary itself, okay? So that's one way that we could dramatically add a massive more amount of pages. However, I'm using a live data source, so I don't necessarily want to do that. So I'm going to keep going. So the next one is I'm going to go recreational dispensaries. Well, guess what? I wrote down on my list recreational dispensary. Well, here's what, if you guys understand, is every search category. If I go to my website right now, right now, all I'm using is, if we look at the URL, and this is what we're studying up here, okay, this URL up top, because that's what's ranking on Google, okay? If I look at this URL, it says dispensaries, and then city, and then state, okay? Rhode Island, Wyoming. Well, what it does is it searches this and it pulls back all the dispensaries in that area. All right, so now here's Sweet Spot, here's Solar, here's Rise, right? These are all dispensaries in that area. All right, well, here's what's really cool is if you look on this, I have little categories that says medical, recreational, pickup, recreational, recreational. Well, I don't, according to my sitemap, I don't have categories like this. So I don't have where it says recreational dispensaries in Rhode Island, Wyoming. I don't have that currently. But do you guys see, if I was to add that to my sitemap, I literally just doubled my site by 33,000 pages. Do you guys see that? Because now I have 33,000 pages that will say recreational dispensaries in Rhode Island, Wyoming. And now watch this. If I go back into my data, okay, we're going to look at this data. If I scroll down, well, we keep it scrolling. Some of them are the same ones. So we have ones that say just cannabis ones. We have one that say our northern nations, which is the name of it. Okay. And then if we keep scrolling, now we have like different products. And then we have recreational. And then if we have recreational, well, we also have the flip side, which is called medical. Okay. So now we have 2 different things in 2 different categories. So all of a sudden, I could make it where I can take this sitemap and I could add 2 categories. So not only do we just double our site with adding recreational, we tripled our site by adding medical. Okay, now watch, how do we do that? How do we actually do that? Okay, instead of it just being like, oh, theory. Okay, watch. Does anybody have a question like, is this possible so far? Like up until this one moment, right? Does this 1000% make sense? Now it's just like, well, how do we do it?
It makes sense, and that's partly a question I had before you started explaining this. Is how since all that was called, how could we maximize and monetize this at the best, most efficient way? So adding these could help. Those are no longer additional calls. Once they're called, right? So it's listed, it's done, and now you can switch the websites out as much as you want. Because where that thought process is coming from is, I don't think what happened is bad. For one, I think you might have been able to lessen the expense, maybe because it seemed like a lot of cities, you were listed on cities that didn't have dispensaries. So if there was a way in which you could only ask to be listed, so that's a question I would have there, is how can we just make sure we're not getting charged for calls that don't make any sense because there's no dispensaries there. But also it's starting smaller, right? So I was thinking, okay, let's say real estate, because that's just what I'm most familiar with. If we wanted to do real estate Colorado, and then I do all the cities in Colorado, start there, then I'm able to kind of tweak and maximize, kind of like you're starting with dispensaries rather than doctors or wellness, and then play with that a little bit. And then once you get that kind of how you really like your little pet project, then you could blow it up more commercially, so to speak.
Absolutely. And here's the cool thing is, you could, let's just say you wanted to do cities in Colorado. You could go to the AI and say, give me all the cities in Colorado, and then put it in a JSON database file. And then that literally creates every city. And here's the thing, tomorrow we're going to go over that exact step, because I think that's incredibly important, because all of a sudden you could now have every city, and then and you could create your own databases. You don't need to go buy a database. You don't need to go rent a database. You could create it instantly. And I mean, when you see the process, you're like, okay, wow, this is how you should create a database. And I'm going to show you guys. So it's going to be wild. So absolutely what you just
but also, like I said, maybe I wouldn't want every city. I would just want maybe all the cities that have at least 10,000 people, or that have public schools, or whatever it might be. So what would be important, and what I'd like to learn or hear, is how to, using your example, how would you have set it up to make calls on only cities with dispensaries, rather than some that weren't, so you're not getting charged for cities that don't have dispensaries?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is government data sites essentially to go get data from that you could use. Or what you could do is, through your poll, you see how I have all these cities and states when I polled these dispensaries?
Right.
I could only say what are the cities and states, and only display the ones that I have actually in my list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are on my sitemap. So
that's what I was thinking. You could probably just put it into the AI. The AI prompt is to only list or call cities that have dispensaries.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. So you guys ready to see how to create a sitemap and make 33,000 pages really fast? Like, you guys want to see this? All right, so here's what it is. Okay, so here is let me get logged in to my account. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a few seconds.
Do you like Namecheap?
Oh, I love Namecheap.
Okay.
Yeah, out of all the hosting providers, I like Namecheap the most. I mean, is there other ones? Yeah, but I don't know.
It's a popular one, and I looked because my mom used some old one a long time ago. So but the good thing about them is I think they're a little smaller, so I can get somebody that knows their stuff right away and can help out. But I wasn't sure. I know Namecheap. I've thought about using it. I think I might have even created an account. I just haven't gotten a domain on there yet.
Yeah, their support is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Okay,
Cool.
so we have our dispensary near me, opennow.com. Okay, and I can go to my cPanel. And if you guys don't know what a cPanel is, this is like, I feel like this gives us full control. We're not like, we don't have to rely on Go High Level, some other builder. We own the code. It's our full server, right? Okay. I pay $22 a year for this thing, plus my domain. Okay. So it's $32.32 is what I paid for this site. All right. So if I go to my file manager, okay, we can go in here and you can see the public HTML, right? So this is called your root domain. Okay. So the public HTML. If I click on this, I have in here a file called index.php. Okay. And if I hit edit, this will allow us to edit our document. All right. Well, if I edit our code, I could sit here and edit the code, right? I'm not going to sit here and just edit directly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Cursor. All right. Has anybody here heard Cursor yet? Have you guys used Cursor? Right. Cursor is freaking legend. All right. So I absolutely love Cursor. Okay. So here's what I have is I have two pages. I have an index page, and then I have also a test page. All right. They're the exact same page. All right. So I'm going to hit Control A. What I do is I like to keep my index page and my test page the same, because if I ever mess something up, well, hey, I can always go back to where I am. All right. So this is right where I'm at my code. Right. So usually I start the day like this, and it's just easier. So then I'm in my test. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new chat with this AI. And I'm going to say two things. All right. So I'm literally going to tell it. First, I'm going to give it context. Okay. So if you look over here, these are my files. And if you guys don't know how I got to this chat, I hit Command L. Okay. So then I hit this little plus button and I go down here to the robot.txt file because I want to add that as context. Yugami, you got a question here? What's up? Question? No?
It's on mute. Yugami, you're on mute.
All right. If you got a question, just interrupt me. I'll hit you up. All right. So we got test.php and we got a robot.txt file. Okay. The other thing that we're going to add is what's called our sitemap.php because we want it to have knowledge of all these things. Okay. So this is giving the AI context of all of our code. All right. Which I absolutely love. It's my favorite thing about Cursor. All right. And then here's what we're going to do. I'm going to say, I see that on Google search, I come up, however I spell, come up for recreational and medical, and then I'm going to marijuana dispensaries. Okay. Dispensaries. All right. In each city. All right. So here is what I want you to do. P.S. I'm in front of my friends. Okay. Friends. So please impress them. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. All right. So here's what I want you to do. All right. So let's give it some instructions. And I want to say, can you make it so people can search just these categories. Okay. Also, I want to programmatically rank for each term, just like I am for the dispensaries. Okay. Please make sure it's 100% SEO'd out and you update everything you can think of possible. Okay. All right. And I'm even going to say, create me a unique sitemap just for each listing, each category, okay? Category. Glory, right? Close enough. All right. Category. All right. So that's what we're going to say. Do I need to, okay. Do I need to say anything else? Yes. I'm going to say, that's it. Update the URL, the search. Perfect. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. I'm going to hit generate. All right, so here's what it's going to do. AI is going to read all my code, all the code I inputted. All right, and it's going to say, I'll help you create a cosmetic solution. And what it's going to do, it's going to reference the test code. It's going to get all those categories. All right, it's going to create a new sitemap for the categories. Okay, sweet. Each category. All right, category sitemap is on this one. Awesome, I love it. And then create individual category sitemaps. It's going to also do this, right? Recreational sitemap, and then it's going to have a dispensary sitemap. Okay, so added structured data for each category. Sweet. All right, so this one says recreational marijuana dispensaries. Cool. These changes will do this. Will it do medical? Okay. Perfect. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to check this out. All right, so we're going to say this test. We're going to hit apply. You can see it has different categories right here. Add categories to the parameter handlings. And then you could see the red it takes away, the green it adds. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I like to verify and make sure everything is good. I like to read over it because sometimes you'll read it and you'll mess it up. Okay. So now here's the thing. I could see that right now. It's also updating a lot of the code that I have in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit reject. As crazy it is. And I'm going to say, make sure you don't mess up anything that I already have in place. Okay, please. Okay, because that's important. And then I'm going to give it those other files again. Okay, so now we have robot text and sitemap. All right, enter. So now it's going to read what it just put out. It's going to go through and make that update. All right, I'm going to have tomorrow in that little class, I'm going to have a lot of these little like helper notes. So when you're submitting and you're talking to the AI, you could also understand how to talk to it. Because here's the thing is, it's going to do exactly what you tell it to. Well, sometimes you need to make sure you tell it what not to do also. All right, because what not to do is just important. Just me telling it, don't do this thing and don't mess it up. Well, now it's going to say, hey, I'm going to preserve all your existing functionalities. Here's this. Okay. Thank you, because it might have messed up half my site and not been able to do the same thing. And it's like, dude, what the heck? And you're not sure why it does it. So that's a very key part, at least when you're talking to the AI. All right, so I'll add the categories. Now I can hit index A. All right, so this adds it to my index file. Okay, so we're going here, index.php. We're going to update this one. Boom. Go through and click each one. All right, that's adjusting. It's adding this nice category stylization. Nice. All right, this one's adding style for the category tabs. There you go. Boom. They updated this. Let's see where it's at. All right, then we're going to go to this next one, update the meta tags. All right. Same thing. And then the last one. All right, create a new category sitemap. Okay, so whenever you see this, it's going to create an actual new page. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to hit apply. And look, now we have a new category sitemap right here. Well, if we're going to add a new page, we need to add a new page to our actual website too. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy what it says. So it says category sitemap.php. I'm going to go to my website and I'm going to add a file, category sitemap.php, and I'm going to hit create. All right. If you guys are watching this and you're like, oh man, this is so overwhelming. Oh no. Guess what? The more you involve yourself in it, the more it's going to be like, oh man, I can't believe I know how to do this. I am a genius. And that's where I want to get you guys. Okay. So I'm going to hit copy and I'm just copying this script, right? The script that it pasted out, and I'm pasting it into the file right here. That's all I'm doing. All right. And now I'm going to hit save. All right. And then now if I go back into Cursor, let's read the next instructions. Update your robot text. All right. So if I go into robot text right here, we're going to hit apply. You see right here. So here's what I love. If we ever want to add more sitemaps, all that did is it now has category dash sitemap. So now we never have to mess with the original sitemap. That's what I loved about it. When I learned that, I was like, oh, wow, we could do this. Now I could just create sitemaps. I could have product sitemaps. I could have all of these different sitemaps without having to worry that, all right, I'm going to mess with this original one. Okay. Because when you're coding with AI, I promise you, that's your, sometimes you don't know what it does, because if you don't speak code or if you don't write code, you're like, oh, I really don't know what it just did. So you need to kind of learn how to code with AI, as crazy it is. All right. So now we go back to this one. It says update your filtering to search here. So we're going to say apply. Let's see what happens. Will updates. All right. All right. And then basically what we're going to do is now we have 13,000 lines in our index file. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into our index.php and I'm going to paste and I'm going to save. All right. And I'm going to hit preview and I'm going to literally just make sure it works again because, hey, it's AI. All right, cool. Look at it. We got all dispensaries, recreational, and medical straight on the page. If I click it, right, it didn't update. Just basically, it didn't update this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, all right, recreational. All right, it didn't update when I clicked it. All right, but we have buttons. Step one. All right, we got buttons. All right, cool. All right, so if I click here, and I type in, let's type in Phoenix, Arizona, and recreational. Boom. Nope. All right. So we need to update this. Okay. So let's go back into Cursor and let's tell this. All right. So I can see the buttons. However, can you make sure it does a new search and a new search when you click the category. All right. Category. Let's see, and only display those results. All right. Enter. Okay, so here's what's cool. So this is right in the code. It'll update the category for us, make all the changes. Super awesome. All right. Stringify category, love it. All right. So now here's the thing. So the API doesn't have a, let's just check what it does. All right. So I'm going to hit this. It's going to say update new category tabs. It accepts. All right. And now I'm going to bring this over back into our index.php file. Paste, update, check it out. Cool. Wyoming, recreational, category, recreational, nailed it. All right. So it updated the category. Do we only have recreationals? We do. How about medical? Bam. Updated, only medical. Score. All right, cool. All right, so we did something. All right, well now, what about our sitemap? Okay, so here's what the thing, you see how it just says category medical? I absolutely do not like that. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, bro, can you please fix the URL so it is something like, here's how I actually want it, right? So I'm going to write it out exactly like I want it. So I'm going to put this, and I'm going to put medical with a dash on, and then with another dash, dispensaries, and then we're going to say city / state. All right. Boom. All right.
You know what I'm thinking is, would that have anything to do with the call? Because you already have a call for Rhode Island, Wyoming dispensaries, and then if you add medical on there after a whatever that emblem is, spacing. But would that be a different call?
For me, I want it to be essentially, this is kind of how I want it to be structured. But I want it to make sure it updates that URL, because that's part of the programmatic SEO strategy, right? We don't want it just to update the category. I want it to rank. That / really matters, right? So, and now I'm going to add those other files. So I'm going to say category sitemap, and then also this robot.txt, just in case. All right. Also update those other files if needed. All right, so we're going to add that. That's going to update there. And category tabs HTML suites. And let's see, also add this to your existing PHP function. All right, let's check. All right, update these other files if needed.
So what you're thinking on why you don't like that structure?
Mainly is because I want to, if you look currently, it just says question mark category equals category.
Right.
Well, Google doesn't actually rank question mark equals category. They rank these / things, right? So they rank these subdirectories like that. So we want to make sure when we're doing our calls, it's set up correctly. Okay. So
you mean in the future, because what I'm getting at is this, you've already called this website's already been called, right? So if you want to do a / rather than the question mark, then it's going to have to be called again.
Okay, whereas, so it does totally. Yeah, it still calls it. So basically what it's doing, it updates it and makes that call for us. And then it pulls back that.
So you'll get charged again?
Well, so here's the thing is I went to a free API.
Okay.
Right. I totally went to a total different API system. I left Google Maps Places API because that's expensive. That was ridiculous. So
okay, I remember.
Absolutely. I'm not playing that game anymore.
So because you're using the free, you want the / so that hopefully you can rank better with it saying medical in Wyoming, not just Wyoming.
Totally. Absolutely.
Get it.
Yep. So so this one gave me another little sitemap page, and it told me to create a new sitemap. I'm going to say do this without creating a new sitemap. Use what we have. All right. And now it's going to update this. All right. So category sitemap, prevent any white space, recreational. Here's our 2 categories. Awesome. So here's the thing. I can't type code, but I could read code, right? That's the skill that I'm learning. I'm just checking to make sure that the AI is doing its job, right? So over time, it gets a little easier. All right. So now I'll have here, and I'll have it apply. You can see where it's going to update. I'll come down here to our robot.txt file. Let's see if we need an update here. We don't, and accept. All right, cool. So now we're going to go back here and we're going to add, this is my categories.site file. So I'm going to come here, copy everything, Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V. All right, save. Same thing with my index file. And I'm going to come over here, bam, index file, copy, save. 14,000 lines of code, or 1,400 lines of code. All right. So now we're going to go to our page, refresh. And now if we hit recreational, you can see recreational marijuana dispensaries, Rhode Island, Wyoming, right? We have a really nice, look at that. That's such a beautiful URL. All right. So now if I hit medical, bam, it totally changes to this. So now watch this. So now we need to make sure if I hit this, you see how it just has, so I have this search, and it pulls back and it has just medical. Okay. So we have this, let's make sure recreational, medical, all of this. Okay. You can see I also have a recreational in here. So that totally didn't do our filter. So what we're going to say is we're going to go into cursor. All right. And I'm going to say the URLs are beautiful, babe. All right. Give them credit where it's due. All right. Now I'm going to say, beautiful. Can you make sure to do a 100% proper search when someone lands on a domain like this, So make sure to only show the proper results. All right. And then I'm going to paste. Okay. All right. And now we're going to hit enter. Cool. So now it's going to read this. It's going to say, I'll help you update the search functionality, proper handed categories, and filter results accordingly. Thank you. All right. So now it's going to parse. It's going to parse the URL. It's going to return the category state. It's going to update the search functionality. It's going to do all the generation. Awesome. All right.
You said the URLs are beautiful. You said give credit, but you should also call it an idiot if it's putting up. Hey, dumbass! Yeah, please don't put the recreational in the medical.
Right.
It's fun when you get in a debate or an argument with AI.
Right.
Because you're really only talking to yourself. You're like,
all right. So take that index, and then I'm going to go into our index.php, paste this. Boom. Added 93 lines of code. And if we go into our Wyoming, refresh. 404, we broke everything.
Oh bam.
I hate when that happens. All right. Oh my God, this sucks. All right. So let's check. Let's see if there's another thing to say before that. All right. When someone lands on this, do this. All right. So we have this little timeline right here. Okay. There's two ways to handle this. One is in here, we could update this and we could go back in the timeline. Or two, we know that our last change in our sitemap was essentially like it worked. Okay. So if we go into our code and we're into our index.php, there is a back button right here. Okay. So if we go down to how many pages, we can see if I hit back, we're at 14,000 code pages, and I'll hit save, and I could save that, and we could go back here and I could hit refresh. All right. Let's make sure that, all right, we're back in business, baby. All right. So we're at least here. Okay. So now what we need to do is go back into cursor. All right. And then I'm going to update this. So we're at that 14,000 lines of code, and I'm going to go back to this test.php, and I'm going to update this one also. Okay. So this is like my workflow. If I ever make an error and I'm like, hey, that just broke, All right, well then I know I could come back and I could create a little like save loop, okay? So now we have a test file that's already saved, and we have our index.php file, which is over here. And what I like to do is I like to start a whole new conversation, all right, with my last input. All right, so I could say, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste. We're going to try this again. Why aren't you pasting, bro? All right, let's just say the URLs are beautiful. Copy. Can I? All right. So let's just say when someone lands on this, make sure you. All right. So now let's grab this. We have dispensaries here, and let's go to cursor, and make sure the code works 100%, bruh. All right. And now we are going to hit enter. All right. That was a little scary. I'm not going to lie.
You can say, or your friend, say, come on, man, make sure it works 1,000%, bro, or my friend Troy's going to start calling you names.
All right, cool. So it's going to update here. And proper parses it, strictly things, categories. All right, I'm going to just double check. Can you also make sure this works 100% with all the other code and nothing breaks? And let's just double check. All right, I'll verify and secure all the related functionalities. Critical updates, ensure everything works seamlessly. Thank you. All right, let's not play that game again. All right, so we have our index file. It's going to give us our two answers. I'm going to hit apply on the first one. It gives us that update. I'm going to scroll down, hit apply on the second one, see if it makes any changes. Generating. All right, some down here. Nailed it. All right, that's a lot of red and that's a lot of updates. So let's see what's happening. All right, accept. And scroll down, make sure that's everything. Boom. All right, cool. Let's check our site. Hopefully everything works this time. Otherwise, that's going to be awkward. All right, so here we go. All right, we're here. Refresh. Boom. 404. Ah, that is so bad. What is this madness? All right. So let's see what is happening. Let's tell the AI.
Well, do you think it's the URL? Because
Okay.
Because you were trying to put, I think, recreational and medical at the end,
Yeah,
rather than the city and state in the beginning.
Let's do this. I think you're actually right. It probably needs to have, there's something called your htaccess file, which might be the case. So I get a 404 error when going to that URL. Let's check something, because what if I'm not getting a 404 error on my entire site? Right? Like, see, the website's technically up. Where I'm getting a 404 error is because I'm searching this and it's almost like searching a new page, but it doesn't actually have that page. So what needs to happen is the URL actually needs to get updated. Okay, so we go to that URL. Can you update the dot update what's needed? All right, and I'm pretty sure it's this ht.access page right here. Yep. We'll help you understand the file. All here doing your URLs. Nailed it. All right. Handles the sitemaps, removes the thing, compresses the text, does all the cool stuff, whatever that does. All right. So here's the changes. Now we're going to update this. Hit accept. Now I'm going to go back into my server and cPanel server here, and we're going to go into this htaccess, edit, and Control-Alt paste. All right. Now, we had a 404 error on this last time. Let's check. 404, refresh. We win. Yahtzee, baby. All right. And now it searches. Did it pull back Wyoming? No dispensaries found in Wyoming, Rhode Island. All right. Is that true? Recreational. How about that? None. All right. How about all? None. All right. Cool. All right. Is that true? Let's do this. All right. So let's type in city and state. Let's go Las Wages. All right. Nevada. All right. It pulls back, does the search. Recreational. All right, cool. But it didn't do the little the one up top. All right, cool. So we did a search, but we did not do like a medical search. That's what we should have did.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're on. You didn't specify.
Las Wages, Nevada. All right, so we have this search. Boom, searching. Boom, recreational. All right, nailed it. All right, we're looking good. Do I have any medical only? Any medical only? Medical? No. We're looking good, All right, let's try the flip version. All right, so I have these ones. These are recreational. Now let's see if I could do medical only. All right, medical. All right, does a search. Does it work? Medical. Look at that. We are winners. Yahtzee, baby. All right, cool. So our search works. That thing works. So here's what does this mean? Okay, so now we need to go back to our cursor, and we talked about our robot.txt file. Okay, our robot.txt file basically says this is where a new sitemap exists. Okay, so what happens? We go into the sitemap and we look at it. And now we have a category 404 page. I love those things. Why? All right, I'm not going to cry. All right, so here's what we're going to do. All right, we're going to go into this robot.txt file. We're going to go to category sitemap, and we're also going to go to what the functions. Let's just add all the code into this thing. All right, so I'm going to start a new chat. That's what I'm going to do. So robot.txt, we have our htaccess, we have our categories, and I'm going to say when I go, and I think functions was a thing. So I'm going to make sure functions is added into this. All right, when I go to the category sitemap, when I go to, I'm just going to paste it. Bam, bam. Back. I did not mean to do that. What happened? All right, when I go to category sitemap, I get a 404 error. These fix. Thank you much. All right, and then it's going to do that, and then we're going to win. All right, so let's check. Based on your sitemap, we notice that you need to update the rewrite rule. Okay, cool. Whatever that is. All right, so it's going to say apply. It just added this one little tiny line. Look how cute that is. All right, then we go down here, copy this. I'm going to Control C. Go to my htaccess file, Control A, Control C. Oops, that was not what I wanted. Go back here, Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V. All right, now hit save change. Now we go back into our handy dandy sitemap. You see how it's here? I'm gonna hit refresh. Still error. What's this? What's this, man? Is that an error? Is that really an error? What is it? Let me try this. Still in here. All right. So after making this change, the URL category sitemap should work properly. You're a liar. All right. All right. So let's just try this. Make sure that category sitemap PHP file exists somewhere in your file root directory. So look, my category name needs to be updated. All right. So that is user error. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, category sitemap, delete. All right. So you see how it says category sitemap.php? Inside this code, it says category sitemap xml.php. Right? Well, that matters. So I'm going to edit. Oops. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to rename. And I'm going to rename it whatever it told me to do. All right. Rename file. So now, if I hit refresh, we're going to hit refresh. Bingo. We win. Yes. All right. So that is a sitemap. All right. If you guys never saw a sitemap and you guys never saw what 66,000 pages look like, that is what it looks like. So, all right. So that is our sitemap. And now you see how we have this little sitemap link right here. This is 1 hour into the call. Let's go, guys. Like, we just created 66,000 pages in 1 hour. Like, flex on me, homie. Like, all right, okay. So here's where we go. All right, so what we're gonna do is in a second, this will load, all right? It will be a giant page. Right now, that's pretty much just what's not happening. It's just taking so long to load. I mean, it's 66,000 pages. What do you expect? All right, so here's what we go. We have the sitemap, and this basically is gonna be what redirects all those links to our page. All right, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Google. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google, and now you see where it says indexing and it says sitemaps. Okay, I'm going to click on that. All right, and I'm going to click on it. And now here's the thing: Google, you could submit more than one sitemap. You know what I mean? It's not just like one and done. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like that. All right. So I'm gonna come over here, and I'm gonna go into my thing, and it says submit. It's right here. It's just one URL. I'm gonna paste, and then it has submit. Watch what happens. Google's going to say submitting sitemap. Submitted sitemap successfully. All right. Dismiss. We'll notify if anything goes wrong. And then here's the thing. It said it couldn't fetch. Awesome. Why? Sitemap can read but has errors. Discovered 55,000 pages. All right. One instance. We're going to see too many URLs. Awesome. All right. We submitted too many. All right. Well,
too many.
I'm going to screenshot that to put on my wall. All right. So 1 second. All right. So we now know the limit for Google. All right. It's 50,000 pages per sitemap. So what are we going to do? All right. We're going to divide it up into 2 sitemaps. All right. So here we go. All right. We're going to tell the AI, bro.
Or just can't you just ask it to remove the ones that don't have dispensaries?
Yes, I mean that's a whole different figuring out all of that. That's a whole different step, and we absolutely could do that, and that would make sense. However, in the future, you might have millions of pages, so we're going to have to figure this out, right? We're going to have to know what our limit is. So you're going to have to know, okay, I have to split my sitemaps into 50,000 pages. So how do we do this? Okay, so I don't know. That might be a solution, but I like to use the heavy thinking to the AI because guess what? It's cheap. All right. So what I'm going to do, that's our robot.txt file. And this is our categories.sitemap. And so I'm going to say without adding any more files, when I submitted this sitemap to Google, it said 50,000 pages is the limit, and limits, and this and each category has more than 33,000. All right. So can you help and fix, please? All right. And now we're going to see what it does. Okay, I'll modify it. the category, and we'll split the URLs between recreational and medical sitemap. Nice. All right, cool. So here we go. This is going to update our category sitemap here. Nailed it. All right. And then it looks like it's going to update our robot.txt file. Sweet. Sitemap categories. Cool. All right. So now we're going to scroll down. So I want to check something. So let's see. Category index, output sitemap index. What is it going to give me? Like 2 new ones? Main index, category, and then recreational sitemap, type recreational, type medical. Submit the main URL to Google, and it'll automatically discover and crawl both category sitemaps. Yahtzee, baby. All right, cool. So now we go up here and we know what it's going to do. All right, we have knowledge of what the coder is going to do, and then we're going to hit accept. Scroll down to the next part, update our robot.txt file, and apply. Does it need to make changes? It doesn't. Cool. All right. It did this, and let's see. So all it really did was update the category sitemap. Okay. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to copy this, go back into my category sitemap, which is in my file manager, category sitemap, edit, paste, baby. All right, cool. Now we're going to go back into Google and let's try it again. So let's grab my crazy long URL to make sure that works. Now we have 2 sitemaps. Look at that. So Google's now going to come in here and be like, oh, that's a sitemap. Nice. And then it's going to do this, and it's going to like apparently go to this sitemap. So it's a sitemap within a sitemap. And then now we have recreational. Boom. All right, cool. We know what it does. Nailed it. All right, so now we're going to go back into Google, and we are going to try this again. All right, so that gave us an error, and we're going to go to sitemaps, and I'm going to come up here, paste that, submitting sitemap. I'm scared. Submitting successful. Success. Oh yes. Oh yes. Because right. Could not fetch. We're so close. All right. What now? Sitemap could not read. All right, bro. Sitemap type medical. Okay. It literally said sitemap cannot read. Okay. So, sitemap could not read. Okay. So here's what it did. All right. So we're just going to tell this to say that will happen. All right. So Google said this. Can you fix 1000%, please? It accepted the main sitemap, but seemed to have errors on the other ones. Please fix. All right, cool. So let's see what happens. The issue might be with the XML declaration. Let's fix the category sitemap to ensure the proper has no white space issues. All right, that's what I was thinking, actually. It was the white space issues. No clue what that means. There's a space in our thing that messed it all up. Great. All right, whatever. All right, so now we're going to hit apply. All right, apply, and it goes to our category sitemap. So this is what I like. You see how we're working on an entire different sitemap, so we're not worried about like messing up our original one. We're literally working on we're growing our site, but we're not like messing up our original ones. Like I would hate if I'm sitting here like messing up our original sitemap also. You know what I mean? Like, yep. That would suck. That would really, really suck. All right, so we have all this updates. Did it give any updates? No. All right, so you could test each one like this. Cool. Let's see what Google says now, because let's check. All right, so it could not read. Let's get the main sitemap, and let's go back here. Sitemaps. Submit the sitemap. Submitting sitemap. Success. Google will periodically check and notify if anything goes wrong. To the next one. Could not fetch. Why? All right.
Why?
All right. So we're going to go here. Could not fetch. Could not be read. All right. So let's see. My theory is it cannot be read because of, my guess is going to be this. It doesn't have HTX access. So maybe we need to make the changes here. Okay. So I'm going to also say robot.text and your category stop. Do I still get an error? Do I need to do anything else? Please fix. It says it can't be read. All right. So it's going to check. Hopefully it's just a simple thing in one of my things. Absolutely clean working. Here's the fixed version. All right. Category sitemap.
If that didn't work, if you want to try to resolve it with a client plugin, you probably could download the client. Probably. Have you ever used it?
No, what is it?
Client. It's a plugin. You could use it under Cursor. I just checked it. It's CLINE, and you connect to your Claude API, but it does read all the files like Cursor does. And
Nice.
I mean, there's, I've been solving a lot of stuff. If Cursor can't resolve it, I'm resolving it that way too.
That's amazing. Okay, using Klein. Okay, bad.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna check this, and hopefully this little update that I made worked. If not, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna dive into Klein. That sounds awesome. All right, so let's check. So the other one I updated was this one, and bam. All right, so now we have our sitemaps again. Categories here.
Can't fetch.
All right, let's get back to this one. Bam. Sitemaps. Enter URL. Submit. Dismiss. Let's check.
Okay.
All right. So, if I was doing this, let's see. So I'm going to go here. Let's see if I refresh. Do I see the sitemap? Category sitemap recreational.
Not really.
So, all right. I see something here. So what is said this? All right, now it loaded off. All right. Let's see. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, let's try. So where'd you say, is it a plugin in here? Is it like a little?
Yeah. Try search there. Yeah, right there where you're at.
Okay.
Click on it, and it should be Klein. Now you
Klein.
Yeah. And
is it like that? Any?
Yeah, you spelled it right.
Okay.
Let's wait. Yeah, for the first one. Yep.
All right. Previous Claude.
Yeah, you're gonna need now with Claude. I mean, there's two ways to do this. One is just a regular API from Claude, but you might have different tiers on there, so it might limit you with the tiers. And there's something called Open Router. I would suggest start with Cloud API only at the beginning.
Okay.
And the way, yeah, on the left side, or the arrow on the top that it will no, next to the plugin, there's an arrow on the way top. Yeah, no, next to it, to the right.
Oh, this.
Yeah, so this way you could click on client, because
Okay.
yeah, you have a different setup than mine. Usually this. Okay, now, yeah, so here's client. You could use the API provider. You could use, yeah, use the API here.
Bet. Okay. Let me
You're
stop
gonna
sharing.
love this, man. You're gonna love this.
Yeah, that'd be cool to fix.
It's see if we're able to fix it. We'll save you a lot of copy pasting on this.
Any second. Good old intrawebs. Are you guys learning a lot in this class or what? Or anything? Hopefully?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just I'm curious as to changing that URL, if that has anything to do with these issues you're having on reading or double checking the site maps and everything lining up. But I'm not going to say anything because it's all new to me. But that's that was where my red or yellow flag went up in my head. I'm like, okay, this could be where the magic trick happens, or where it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I hope that works out.
Rob, what about you?
The good thing about, yeah, I learned, a few things for sure, and I'm sure tomorrow we're going to learn much more as well. And it's just amazing. What I tried to do, right now while in the call, I tried to see the sitemap, or the actual website sitemap visually.
Yeah.
So it looks, when they crawl it, they're only going to see 2 pages, but technically Google's seeing 30,000 pages or more than that. That's just phenomenal. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and the clicks and the data that you show, the proof, I mean, the challenge to keep them ranking, since it's a new website, they're going to crawl everything. But
yeah.
Now, the good thing about client as well, it supports the computer use. So you could let client go do the testing, check the files, and do everything for you.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So
But it takes a lot of tokens though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get back to it and let's see what it is. And thanks for showing this. All right. So what can I do? Thanks. Add your task content. Okay.
So, yeah. What do you want it? What's the problem and how?
Yeah. So let's see. So Google is having an issue reading the let's see, category sitemap page. Okay, so let's go here. Category sitemap. Bam. Issuing the category sitemap.
You could point to the same, if you click the app button, you put the app button and you could point to the right file that you want it. Here we go. So
cool. Okay, so bam, bam. Let's go. This one, bam, file. Let's say, what is this one? What is this category sitemap? So bam. All right. Issue the category. Can you please fix so it's amazing? It's amazing for SEO, and Google loves it. And up to date. All right. Boom. And okay, up to date.
That's good.
Let's just say, all right,
So-
API request. Does it do where it updates and like makes the little things
Yes.
like that? What?
Yeah, it'll say right now. So you're gonna give it an approval right now. It's already going through the files and it's tell you what is it doing.
Man, AI is
Look at that. Jeff is stoked.
This is for me.
Good job, Rob.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, hopefully it's gonna fix the issue, but I replaced Bolt and Cursor with this now.
all right. Potential code truncation to when happens, AI will reach its maximum output limit. Follow the guide to fix. Let's follow the guide.
I could give you it's the tier issue that I told you about. I think so. Right?
Okay. So sometimes the client made us a log to fire comment rest of the code. Best behavior, use smaller things, code diff, revert using the back button, alternately manually copy and paste. All right. Let's check.
So let me see. It's still working. So
It kind of looks like it did it though. So I mean,
okay, so no, it should scroll all the way down.
all right.
No, on the left side. On the left. Yeah.
All right.
All the way down. Let's see at the end what did it say? Save. Click save. So it's gonna create a new one.
All right. So edit the category. All right. And then is it making
It's ask your approval every time it's going to access a file. You could change this in the settings, but in the bottom right here, it's going to ask you, it's going to access the robot.txt.
All right. So now it does this, adds a couple little bit more, disallow. All right. Cool. Check. Word. I'll hit save. My bad. All right. All right. Now we successfully did this. Let's update my htaccess file. Okay. Thank you. What'd you do? Would you make changes? All right. You're doing some stuff. Okay. All right. Does this proper caching? Appreciate you. Thanks for caching it. That makes it probably a better sets cores stuff. All right. I hope it does it. All right. Now what it does. All right. Now it says
Now it's
browser.
going to take over. Yeah. It's going to click approve. It's going to go test it by itself. I mean,
Okay. Nice. All right. I'm going to just pull this in there and then update my files itself. So we'll see how this works. So I guess, I mean, we could definitely just it says it wants to use a browser. I guess we could just definitely check to see what it does.
Technically, yeah, you could use it. I mean, this now when it's used computer use, that's we use a lot of tokens here, basically taking over your browser and doing the testing and everything. So
okay, dang. All right. So now we go here. This one was robot.txt file. All right. Show robot.txt. Edit. I see it trying to do something in the background. So boom. Oh, wow. We never updated our robot.txt file, which definitely helps. Sweet. All right. So look at it doing it. All right.
So I noticed there's the while. So it noticed something. So it's kind of fixing it again.
Now the browser is closed. It will remove ensure directly accessible. All right. All right. So I noticed the XML structure is correct. There's a forward error in the console. Let me close the browser and check the issue. Okay. That's cool. Prevent direct file access forbidden. It's updating something. So let's just see. All right. So let's.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Updated the file directly. We verify it works. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right.
So,
It looks like it did something. All right. I've noticed the XML structure is correct. We're still getting a forward error. Let me close the browser and check the issue with the rewrite rules for the sitemap. Oh yeah, because I haven't updated it yet. But so
it's checking the local files. The local, or no? I think so.
All right. Let's make sure category sitemaps. I wonder if it'll still edit this while I'm on this. Okay, so it's doing these. All right. I wonder if I could just hit save. And then if it will just stop generating for now. All right, so I need to go to this, update this. This is the robot.txt. This is the HTA access. Bam, save. Then let's go here, category, sitemap. Boom. Update this, and robot.txt. Okay, so
Let's test it. No, I think so.
let's see what this does now. If it will accept it. If I'll get an error in this thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, it goes to the actual. Oh, okay.
Please let me close the browser and do the sitemap. Read the file functions. All right, cool. It wants to read the file functions. What? It knew about that file?
Just everything.
All right. It's like, hey, man, there's something in your files that I need to read all of these. Like, can I just read all of this, please?
We must be transparent, no secrecy.
Dude, this is cool, man.
Dude, it's just, yeah. You could start building the whole SaaS just from scratch on here. It's like 2 weeks old, I think, 3 weeks old.
All right, potentially truncated thing, but
No, you can cancel that.
see if it was potentially truncated, but it wasn't subfull. All right, so save. All right, cool. Now we go to this category sitemap. Reject. I don't want you to read that one. That one's huge. All right, so this one is category sitemap, paste, save. All right, cursor wants to edit the file. No, do not do that. No, that's such a large file. Please do not send that.
You could cancel. I thought you could cancel it.
All right. We're gonna see. We're gonna see where we're at. All right, so I'm gonna check out this thing here, and hopefully the category sitemap works. So we're gonna go here, refresh it. This page works. Yes, see. And how about this one? If essentially this doesn't work, what I'm going to do is just kind of keep working on it behind the scenes, and these updates just not live. So, all right, so I'm going to paste this recreational. Let's see if it loads anything. All right, it does. It has little times. Let's just try, for the heck of it, submitting this to Google one more time. And if not, we'll come back and probably restart and tell it to delete those other little sitemaps and tell it to start over from scratch. That's most likely what I'll do. So, okay, so sitemaps, add new sitemap, category sitemap, submitting, sent, could not fetch. All right. All right, cool. So yeah, that's what I'm just going to do next, and hopefully on tomorrow's call, you guys will see the results of what it looks like of me adding those pages. So, yeah, Any questions?
What browser are you on?
I am on Google, Chrome. Yeah, Google Chrome.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's because you're on Apple, you see those three dots. Because I was going to say you can manage those tabs. What I've started doing, if you right click on a tab, and you can put them all into groups. You know that?
Yeah. My life together like that.
You just need a wider screen. That's what you need.
I mean, you should see mine. I have more tabs than that, but I got about 10 groups that I put.
Oh, nice.
Tabs under each one. So I have one for, my AI team. I have one for different masterminds, for real estate, for stuff. So
nice.
If you managed it into projects, it could help you.
Yeah. I envy the people that have their life together like that.
That's funny.
Definitely not there. Yeah.
All it does is allow you to. It's like putting clutter in boxes and then just having more boxes of clutter. It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't lessen it. It allows you to collect more. It's really not helpful. So it's better when you see all your garbage and a bunch of tabs than a bunch of tabs linked into a few all your garbage into a few tabs. It's kind of counterproductive in some ways.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys learned something.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you guys for showing up
Thanks,
this call.
Jeff.
I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12:30 PST. All right.
You're the best. See ya.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. Later.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Later.